Good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Shan Russell and these are the headlines that we're tracking right now. Prime Minister meets Council of Ministers, asks them to spread message of government's development agenda, warns against letting opposition agenda of false campaigns unsettle them. Aam Aadmi Party keeps up its attack against Arun Jaitley over his DDCA tenure, demands his resignation. BJP leaders rally around the finance minister who rebuts charges. IMF chief Christine Lagarde to stand trial in France for alleged negligence. Case pertains to over $438 million payment to a businessman in 2008. India toughens stance at the WTO talks in Nairobi, objects to draft text on agriculture, alleges some developed nations in undue haste to push for deal on phasing out export subsidies. And European Union leaders meet in Brussels for their final summit of a rather tough year. Pressing issues include migrant crisis, which threatens security, and passport-free area. A top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked NDA ministers to fan out across the country to expose the opposition's tactics in Parliament. At a meeting of the Council of Ministers at his residence in Delhi on Thursday, Modi asked his ministers to feel upbeat about the government's work and not to get rattled by the opposition attack. He also asked ministers to communicate to the people the government's achievements and highlights its pro-poor image. The Prime Minister said that the opposition is spreading a campaign of falsehood and that the NDA constituents must take up the challenge of spreading the government's message to the masses. The meeting of the Council of Ministers lasted 1.5 hours. The NDA is expected to begin its outreach campaign in the second week of January. The Joint Committee of Parliament examining the contentious land bill has decided to seek a fresh extension of its term till the beginning of the budget session. PTI court sources is saying the panel, whose term was extended on November 30th by the Lok Sabha till the last day of the winter session, sought more time as its meeting as only a few states have tendered their responses on various clauses of the bill. The meeting was attended by most of the opposition members, but Congress leader Jairam Ramesh was absent. The panel will bring the proposal before the Lok Sabha to seek its nod for an extension. Chairman of the panel, Ahluwalia, will have to move a resolution in the House in this regard. Earlier in August as well, the panel was given an extension to submit its report in the winter session. Giving up the ordinance route, the government had on 28th August issued a statutory order to include 13 central acts like National Highway and Railway Acts to extend benefits to those whose land is acquired under law. Facing stiff opposition protests as well as protests from allies, the government decided not to press with the ordinance for the fourth time, and the BJP members in the parliamentary panel moved amendments seeking to restore the clauses of the earlier bill. Now, India has toughened its stance at the WTO talks in Nairobi, objecting to the draft text on agriculture. India has said that some countries are pushing for a deal on phasing out export subsidies with some undue haste. Commerce and Industry Minister Nirmala Sitharaman clarified that without concluding the pending agenda of the Doha round, it would be difficult for India to talk about the new issues being pushed by the developed nations. She reiterated that there is still no consensus on anything with regard to agriculture issues, and several countries are of the similar view. On the agriculture draft provided to the chair, the minister said that India has expressed its unhappiness about the language, particularly on the stock holding for food security purposes. Sitharaman said India will also be working for tightening the language in the draft of the fishery subsidy. She said that the draft text on agriculture has poorly mentioned the issues that are key to the developing countries, including India. Now, top international focus now. The Taipei controversy over a generous government payout to a political supporter came to a boil on Thursday. Christine Lagarde, managing director of the International Monetary Fund, is to stand trial in France over a multi-million euro payment back in 2008. Despite criticism, Lagarde claimed innocence, saying that she will fight the order in court.
Famous Taipei affair has dragged many big names. This time, the International Monetary Fund chief, Christine Lagarde. Lagarde has been ordered by a French court to stand trial over her role in the state payout of over 400 million euros to French tycoon Bernard Taipei in 2008. She will be tried under a charge of negligence by a person in position. In a statement, Lagarde said she plans to fight the trial order. Lagarde has always protested her innocence, denying any wrongdoing in the arbitration process, which she says was independent and in the best interest of the taxpayers. The then French Finance Minister Lagarde has been accused of meting preferential treatment to Taipei, referring the case to an arbitration panel instead of proceeding through the regular courts. Taipei had sued the partly state-owned Credit Lyonnais Bank of defrauding him by deliberately undervaluing his shares in Adidas at the time of their sale in 1993. The panel awarded him the compensation, causing a public outcry. Critics argue the state would not have paid compensation to a convicted criminal had it not been for Lagarde's actions. Investigators suspect he was granted a deal in return for his support for former French President Nicolas Sarkozy, Lagarde's boss at that time, in his 2007 presidential bid. Meanwhile, IMF continued to express its confidence in the managing director's ability to effectively carry out her duties. Lagarde would have 5 days to appeal once the court decision is made public on Friday or Monday. If convicted, Lagarde could be sentenced to 1 year in prison. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Facing the opposition heat over the DDCA row, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley hit back strongly against the allegations made against him. He accused Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal of spreading false propaganda while maintaining that he has never done anything wrong throughout his political career. Kejriwal has demanded Jaitley's resignation. Listen into what Jaitley had to say in his defense.
भ्रष्टाचार के साथ खड़े हुए जब रंगे हाथों पकड़े गए हैं तो केवल एक चारा है कि लोगों का ध्यान दूसरी तरफ आकर्षित करते हैं और यही कारण है कि शायद मेरा नाम बार-बार वो लेते हैं.
A strong counter-attack by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley against allegations levelled on him by Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his Aam Aadmi Party. At a press conference held on Thursday, Jaitley turned the tables on Arvind Kejriwal, accusing him of attempting to whip up political hysteria to divert attention from corruption in his office. In his defense, Jaitley added that the Serious Fraud Investigation Office under the UPA regime had investigated the case and given a clean chit to him.
यूपीए सरकार ने सन 2012 में एक जांच बिठा दी क्योंकि कंपनी है और कंपनियों के साथ डील करने का केंद्र सरकार को अधिकार होता है और 21 मार्च की 2013 की उनकी रिपोर्ट जो यूपीए सरकार में थी वो पढ़ ली जाए. रिपोर्ट में स्पष्ट लिखा है कि कुछ टेक्निकल वायलेशंस हैं प्रोसीजर्स की कि कोई नोटिस ठीक नहीं था या कोई फाइल ठीक नहीं थी. कोई सब्सटेंटिव वायलेशन नहीं है और वो सारी कंपाउंडेबल थी और उन लोगों द्वारा जिनसे वो शायद कमी रही होगी और मेरे संबंध में लिखा कि इनके खिलाफ कुछ नहीं है और मुझे गर्व है.
Arun Jaitley also attacked the Congress for backing what he called the baseless claims made by Aam Aadmi Party.
और 114 करोड़ रुपए में एक स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट स्टेडियम बना. 7-8 वर्ष लगे, धीरे धीरे उसमें एडिशंस करते रहे और इसकी तुलना अजय माकन जी खेल मंत्री रहे हैं वो अपनी सरकार की परफॉर्मेंस से कर रहे हैं. एक नया स्टेडियम 114 करोड़ में बन गया और कॉमनवेल्थ खेल में नेहरू स्टेडियम की केवल रिपेयर्स और रेनोवेशन पे 900 करोड़ खर्चा. 14,000 कैपेसिटी के ध्यानचंद स्टेडियम पे 600 करोड़ रुपए खर्चा और यहां एक ब्रांड न्यू स्टेडियम 42,000 क्षमता का 114 करोड़ रुपए में बना.
The finance minister was backed by his ministerial colleagues Venkaiah Naidu, Smriti Irani and Nitin Gadkari. The DDCA too stood firmly behind its former president.
There is no question of finance minister's resignation because he has not done anything wrong.
उस टाइम जहाँ की ये बात कर रहे हैं कि इतने में था, उस टाइम हमारा ये वो नहीं था कि हम इसको 3rd फ्लोर तक बनाएंगे. उस टाइम सिर्फ ग्राउंड लेवल की बात थी 1st फ्लोर तक, इसलिए पैसा ज़्यादा उसमें ज़्यादा लग गया है. ये कहना बिल्कुल निराधार है कि अरुण जी की वजह से कुछ हुआ है.
But in an embarrassment for the BJP, party MP Kirti Azad has lent support to the allegations levelled against the finance minister.
I've been speaking for the last 9 years about the corruption, and corruption is corruption, my dear friend.
The manner in which allegations and counter-allegations are flying thick and fast, it seems the political heat in the national capital is not going to subside anytime soon. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In the latest on the political crisis in Arunachal Pradesh, the Guwahati High Court has stayed all the proceedings of the present State Assembly session till the 2nd of February 2016. This came hours after reports that 14 of the 26 MLAs supporting Chief Minister Nabam Tuki have turned rebels. 34 of the 60 MLAs have already voted against the Tuki government and elected Kaliko Phul as their leader. The dissident MLAs, supported by the BJP, are likely to meet the governor soon and apprise him of the situation. But calling the move unconstitutional, the present Chief Minister has written to the Prime Minister and the President. On Wednesday, the dissident MLAs, along with 11 BJP MLAs, held an assembly session in a community hall. This happened even as the government ordered a magistrate to keep the assembly locked, after which the governor told them to go ahead with the session in a community centre. News from proceedings in Parliament and in the Rajya Sabha, they were disrupted by opposition protests against the governor's rule in Arunachal Pradesh on Thursday. Amid many adjournments, the Congress moved a motion to discuss the governor's conduct. The decision of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha on allowing the motion is awaited.
The Congress on Thursday moved a motion under Rule 167 to discuss the role of Arunachal Pradesh governor.
You can give a notice.
Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad pointed out that the proceedings of the State Assembly were conducted at makeshift venue.
विधान सभा से हटाकर कल मेन शिफ्ट जो अभी मैं बता रहा हूं विधान सभा के अंदर हो जाए, चाहे वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है डायरेक्शन या नहीं है, लेकिन विधान सभा के अंदर बाहर क्या कोई दूसरी विधान सभा भी बन सकती है किसी के प्राइवेट? ये सवाल है लोकतंत्र के लिए और सभी राजनीतिक दल जो यहाँ बैठे हैं. 20,000 in the country.
Other parties also joined the Congress in claiming that a constitutional crisis was being created in Arunachal Pradesh.
That procedure of what is happening is absolutely anti-democratic. That is something we have to give our opinion that we cannot accept it.
सरकार को जो है वो इस पे इधर-उधर की बात नहीं करना चाहिए. ऐसे मामलों में तत्काल आपको कार्रवाई करना चाहिए. सीधी बात ये है कि गवर्नर जो है वो हम सब जानते हैं, यानी एक आदमी चुनी हुई सरकार को और असेंबली बाहर बिठा ली जा रही है.
The government strongly reacted to opposition's allegations.
Special mention KP Ramalingam.
Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said the State Assembly proceedings can't be discussed in Rajya Sabha. He also slammed the Congress for disrupting proceedings.
Assemblies की एक्टिविटीज पर किसी भी रूप में हम यहाँ चर्चा नहीं कर सकते. आप असेंबली की एक्टिविटी में चर्चा करना चाह रहे हैं. आप गवर्नर को वहाँ पर भड़का रहे हैं. आप चर्चा में संवैधानिक काम करने ही दे रहे हैं.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian informed the House that Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari was examining the notice to discuss the governor's conduct. Rules 167 to 174 of the Rajya Sabha Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business provide that no discussion on matter of general public interest shall take place except on a motion made with the chairman's consent.
The substantive motion to discuss the conduct of the governor, and this is being examined by the Honorable Chairman, and the Chairman will take a decision whether it to be discussed or not. And after the decision of the Chairman comes, I will come. After comes, if Chairman allows, we can discuss it.
No, please go back to your places.
The Congress even alleged an attempt to topple the state government by the centre. Party members trooped into the well of the House, unsettling the proceedings in the House. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And the political crisis in Arunachal Pradesh figured in the Lok Sabha as well. Congress members staged a walkout after the government stated that the centre had no role to play in the state's affairs.
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu told Lok Sabha on Thursday that the centre had no role in the developments in Arunachal Pradesh. He also insisted that the governor had acted within the confines of the constitution.
The governor, as per the Constitution 174, 175, 181, has acted within his rights, and then from time to time he has been informing the Honorable President of India the legislators who are in the ruling party, they broke away from that party for whatever reasons known to them, and they gave a no-confidence motion against the speaker. And then governor has asked the speaker to face the house and take this no-confidence motion. They did not immediately respond to that. So the governor has summoned the assembly and fixed the date of 16th yesterday for the no-confidence motion to be decided on the floor of the house.
Before this, when the House convened, Congress members staged protest, alleging that the centre was directing the events unfolding in the state. They charged the governor with trying to unseat a democratically elected government.
And Congress party has got two-thirds majority and two-thirds MLAs, 47 MLAs are belonging to Congress party. The central government is instigating governor to divide the party.
Governor cannot be the main name.
The new development, this is new development. They have conducted the assembly outside the assembly hall. In a community hall they have conducted. They have removed the speaker and deputy speaker is presiding over. Such things outside the assembly. Where is the democracy? Democracy they are killing.
Expressing their displeasure, Congress members staged a walkout from the House. Congress rebel MLAs joined BJP MLAs in bringing a no-confidence motion in the state, forcing a constitutional crisis in the state. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take a quick break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Tales that inspire, stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries every Friday at 10:30 p.m, Saturday 12:30 p.m, and Sunday at 1 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, Nepal's central bank has warned that the country faces grim prospects of stagflation if the political crisis over its new constitution is not resolved. The warning came as inflation figures reached double digits to touch a 3-year high. The Nepal Rashtra Bank warning also came at a time when consumer prices shot up by more than 10% in November. Economic growth of the Himalayan nation is expected to drop to its lowest in around 1.5 decades. Nepal's economy was severely hit after the April 25th earthquake, followed by the political turmoil in the southern plains by Indian-origin Madhesis for the last 4 months. Nepal had contained inflation within single digit in the last 23 months. But in November, it stood at 10.4%, the highest in the last 3 years. Time for some more updates from around the country and nationwide. At least 7 infants died under mysterious circumstances at the Malda Medical College and Hospital in West Bengal. The hospital authorities cited malnutrition and low weight as the main factors leading to the deaths. Parents of the victims alleged negligence on the part of the medical college. For the past few years, the Malda hospital has repeatedly hit the headlines over the spate of infant deaths, with the trend rising during winter. The government has downplayed Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar's remark on fighting against the IS terror group. Parrikar had said that India could undertake an anti-IS operation under a UN flag if the global body adopts a resolution in this regard. Terming it a hypothetical situation, the Ministry of External Affairs said India has been part of every UN-led mission. Spokesperson Vikas Swarup said India joins peacekeeping operations based on whether there is a robust mandate for it or not. Parrikar's remarks were in departure from India's position that it will not go overtly against the Islamic State terror group. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has assured the Christian community in the country that no injustice will be allowed to happen to them. He said this while addressing a Christmas celebration organized by the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. He also asked the community leaders to contact him directly if any injustice is done to them anywhere in the country. The pilot and co-pilot of an Air India plane involved in the freak accident at the Mumbai airport, where a technician died after getting sucked into the engine, have been grounded. The move comes as part of the probe launched by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. The national carrier has announced an ex-gratia of 5 lakh rupees and a job in the airline to a family member of the deceased service engineer. The European Union leaders tackled the migration crisis and Britain's reform demands at a summit on Thursday. Twin challenges threatening the unity of the EU as one of the toughest years in its history draws to a close. The meeting comes just 2 days after the European Commission presented new proposals under which the bloc would nearly treble its spending on frontier defence and create a 1,500-strong rapid reaction force.
European Union leaders are in Brussels for their final summit of what's been a tough year. Among the pressing issues on the agenda, the migration crisis, which threatens security and the passport-free area. Leaders will discuss the plan aimed at boosting security on Europe's perimeter while preserving the 26-nation Schengen zone at the continent's heart, within which people can travel freely across national borders without passport checks.
Europe cannot remain vulnerable when Schengen states are not able to effectively protect their borders. If we reject the Commission's proposal, we will have to find another, but I am afraid an equally painful solution.
Also up for discussion in Brussels is Britain's push for EU reform. Prime Minister David Cameron's promised a membership referendum by the end of 2017.
We're not pushing for a deal tonight, but we're pushing for real momentum so that we can get this deal done. So I'm going to be battling hard for Britain right through the night, and I think we'll be getting a good deal.
Other EU leaders who will be meeting Cameron for dinner in Brussels want to help him ensure Britain votes to stay in the EU in a referendum due within 2 years, with opinion polls showing the number of Britons wishing to leave is growing.
Ich werde diese Aussprache von deutscher Seite in dem Geist führen, dass wir von unserer Seite aus gerne Großbritannien als Mitglied der Europäischen Union erhalten wollen. Gleichzeitig natürlich aber die Grundfreiheiten, Nichtdiskriminierung, Freizügigkeit, die Grundprinzipien der Europäischen Union nicht einschränken wollen.
Also about Brexit, but I think that this is not time for exits in Europe. It's time for more cooperation.
David Cameron's proposals has 4 major chapters. 3 is supportable, easy for us. Basically, we agree. The 4th one is more complicated, so we should negotiate more on that. And that's exactly the social issue.
Boosting the fight against terrorism is also being discussed at the summit, coming in the wake of the Paris attacks, which left 130 people dead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The foreign ministers from around 20 countries are meeting in New York with the goal of setting a concrete timetable for holding peace talks between the Syrian government and the opposition. Earlier this week, diplomats thought some progress had been made on the most difficult sticking points in the talks, the fate of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
Foreign ministers from more than a dozen countries, including Russia, the United States, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Iran and other European and Middle Eastern powers are set for talks aimed at ending Syria's 5-year-old civil war at New York's Palace Hotel on Friday. German Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier expressed cautious optimism that the conference between foreign ministers would bring about progress in ending Syria's civil war.
Von Wien nach Paris, von Riyadh nach Moskau, heute New York, Konferenzen auf 3 Kontinenten, das zeigt, dass die Ernsthaftigkeit des Bemühens nach 5 Jahren Bürgerkrieg und 300.000 Toten in Syrien etwas zu verändern vorhanden ist. Es kommt jetzt darauf an.
Echoing similar sentiments, Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that he broadly supported US plans to try to push forward the Syrian peace process. His comments followed a visit to Moscow by US Secretary of State John Kerry this week.
Мы считаем, что только сирийский народ должен определить, кто им должен управлять и по каким стандартам, по каким правилам. Поэтому мы в целом, и я скажу сейчас, наверное, важную вещь, мы поддерживаем инициативу Соединенных Штатов.
Syria will be represented by former Prime Minister Riyad Hajib, who was chosen by Syrian opposition to lead future peace talks. Meanwhile, on Thursday, finance ministers of the United Nations Security Council member countries met in New York to pass a resolution to cut funding of Islamic State. The 15-member council unanimously adopted a resolution that ties together existing measures targeting Islamic State's finances and offers guidance on implementation in a bid to push more countries to act.
I think we've got, with this United Nations resolution, a very clear cover and authority to go after not just the terrorists themselves, but all the middle people involved in financing this organization. And if you are involved in the oil trade or the antiquities trade with ISIL, Daesh, you should see from this resolution that you are absolutely in our sights.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew will lead the 15-member council for the vote that comes amid a major diplomatic push to end the war in Syria. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time to take a look at other stories we are following from around the world in World Wrap. The United Nations General Assembly on Thursday approved a resolution condemning human rights abuses in North Korea. The resolution was adopted with 119 votes in favour, 19 against and 48 abstentions. It condemned the ongoing systematic, widespread and gross violations of human rights in North Korea. Though the resolutions are not binding, but they carry political weight. It also urged the UN Security Council to consider referring the situation in North Korea to the International Criminal Court. In a wide-ranging annual news conference, Russian President Vladimir Putin used crude language in a furious new attack on Turkey over the shooting down of a Russian combat jet last month. Putin said he saw no prospect of ties improving with Turkey under its current leaders. The latest in the San Bernardino investigations, a friend of one of the attackers, Enrique Marquez, has been charged in connection with the shooting. Marquez has been charged on 3 counts: providing material support to terrorists, unlawful purchase of assault rifles, and defrauding immigration authorities. He also told authorities in detail about the earlier terrorist plots that were never carried out. Some sports now, and after a dreadful run in the Premier League, Chelsea owners pinned the entire blame for the club's dramatic season collapse firmly on manager Jose Mourinho, sacking him on Thursday. Only 7 months after Mourinho led the club to the Premier League title, the discord between the 52-year-old Portuguese and his underperforming squad forced the club to abruptly end his second spell as manager. He'd taken charge for the second time in June 2016. Chelsea finished 8 points clear last season and won the League Cup, but this season has been a complete contrast. After Mourinho's 9th defeat on Monday against Leicester City, the side has been stranded in the 16th place in this Premier League table, only a single point above the relegation places. Pep Guardiola, Gus Hiddink, Juan de Ramos and Brendan Rodgers have all been touted as possible successors as Blues owners Roman Abramovich begins another managerial search. Well, that's it from us. Goodbye.